What's with the weird tunnel in the lava?
The what?
Well, weird like anus tunnel. I'm not the only one, right?
You're the only one. Only you and Kayan would see an anus there.
It's how you get the green armor, right?
So you guys have a couple of avenues to go down. You have Koranu on Mount Celestia. There's Fred in a giant hat. Eric back on the Prime Material. Jade Bull on Elysium. Eldov is here in Sigil. And nobody knows what became of Khalil.
Yeah. Riot volunteers to go see Fred. Fred's like favorite.
Fred is the best. So somebody took a screenshot of this map, right? Like we don't need this anymore.
Do you have the imager that you can share with us?
Actually, if you press F11 or press 11 to remove the HUD, and then you can press Shift F11 to take a screenshot.
I mean, I know I can do that, but it came from a place that Rick can.
Why would I make life easy for you guys, though? Yeah, I'll post the link to it in the Discord, because that's what I can do.
Thank you, Brick
computer.
Road.
See, Nodal appreciates me. This is a fun map that everybody can follow along. Every time I go to save one of these maps, Photoshop always yells at me. This file size is too big. You can't do it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it anyway.
Can't stop me, Photoshop. I own you.
So you guys are going to go see Fred first?
I don't know if we all need to go to the same place, do we?
I would prefer that, so we can just have everybody in every scene.
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. I thought we were going to bring everyone together.
Let's go. Very
Field
unlikely
trip.
happening.
Yeah,
one thing,
Mahogany tried.
It's impossible for Fred to leave his location. He is actually not able to. He would never admit that, but he got where he is by walking the infinite staircase. And yeah, Eric doesn't consider that you guys are actually serious about this whole thing. So you're going to go see Fred first.
We've rescued every other one of his party members.
And?
Eric sucks.
He's the worst.
What a bitch.
No. Khalil's pretty bad. And, like, Elda's right there.
Khalil's alright.
The only reason we like Orphan is because she hasn't sent me.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, she's been kind of tonic. Alright, so Fred.
Okay, we're going to go to Fred first.
Big ol'.
This doesn't look right in hell lighting, but
oh, it's fine.
It's okay. So Fred lives in the hat of a giant stone colossus that he calls Big Weldon.
Mm-hmm.
Good damn.
Fred's my favorite.
And inside of his hat, he's built a replica of what he calls Sigil, that he considers as Sigil, and he calls the actual Sigil Old Sigil. And Kelian has never liked that.
Not even a little bit.
That's always bummed him out. The only development that Fred is kind of aware of is a much larger than usual influx of sensates to Arborea that he's made more and more contact with. He asks, kind of giddily, like he's been waiting for this forever. He's like, did it finally happen? Did Sigil finally crumble under the weight of its own debauchery? He says.
No, but you might want to do some remodeling.
This is a man who is currently eating grapes out of the hands of a naked woman that he built himself out of magic and wishes.
But not magic wishes, just to be clear. He's not that good.
Nath is.
So what do you tell him about the faction war?
I think I would just point out where their armory is and said that's no longer there anymore. No one lives there anymore, pointing at the Shadow Temple.
Along the inner ring of what he calls Sigil, he has tapestries celebrating the various factions. And he gives you all the task of, very cheerfully, he gives this task to you. He says he would like you to update his collection. Which of these factions are no longer which ones need to be torn down, burned, and then he watches what it is you guys actually do.
Mahogany goes to eat his sandwiches because they were pretty good.
Okay, so you just go to
I
the
mean, I'll just
buffet?
nod towards Riot. This is really hurt.
Yeah. Let me see what kind of range I can get on this particular spell. Okay. Oh, no longer in a 20-foot cube. That sucks.
What are you trying to do?
I was gonna cast Permanent Image to redo these, but I can't get all of them at once. I don't know how large is the room we're in.
It's exactly large enough as you need it to be to get all of them at once.
It
Yeah,
gets
okay.
smaller when you need to, and then gets bigger afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, I'll cast Permanent Image,
Okay.
and there's like 2 factions left. Riot includes the Lawgivers reluctantly, and what's Liberation's crazy new faction?
The Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye, right? They're in there. The in-depths just get huge, just like are swarming over the rest of everybody else, and the rest of the faction sigils are drawn really tiny in the middle of this like sea of in-depths. But yeah, there's those 2, and I guess since Kelian is a friend, she'll kind of include. Do the capitalists have a sigil? Do they have colors?
No.
Okay, then they don't get included because I don't know how to
Fine.
draw them.
Yeah, that's fine.
They
I
do,
mean,
but
ladies-
Kelian doesn't know it.
I was gonna say, like, the lady said, no more factions. Like, all right, Kelian's down with that.
Well,
That isn't what she said.
Planner
To be
Sect
clear, the lady
still-
said she was done with these factions.
Yeah.
Planner sects are factions in all but name. They still have colors, they still have
Oh,
symbols,
all
they
right.
still have benefits, restrictions, planes of influence, all the good stuff.
I gotta think about that then. All right.
She's
Yeah,
got a
okay.
giant middle finger on a stack of coins.
Okay, so the capitalists get in there because they're her good friend Kelian's. And that's it. That's all I know about. I
And
guess
this-
no. There's a Sons of Mercy. They're in there. She
Okay.
doesn't. She does not include the Sot Killers.
This seems to please Fred greatly. So you left like the Dustmen alone, the Ciphers, the
No, all
Sensates,
those got wiped out.
the wiped out. Okay.
Like everybody except for the 4 I just mentioned got wiped out.
And he says, I never thought that I would say this in my mortal life, but that's a party I'm glad I wasn't invited to.
Mortal life. Liberation says dripping with irony.
Fred asks who Liberation's new friend is.
This is Rose.
A succubus, Kelian says to everybody.
I like he says it in those exact terms. Too.
Kelian, we already knew, right? And Mahogany looks over at Nath. We knew that.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, they did know that.
Did we not tell you guys?
Yeah, you didn't tell me. I found out later.
Oh, well, she's a stockybus.
Well, maybe.
And
No,
Fred,
she is.
Fred gives Liberation like a sly smile and a wink and just says he doesn't judge.
Anyway, we're almost ready. We've got everybody else. I don't know if we've been updating you. I sometimes forget. Things happen quickly. Everybody's out except for Terran, and we're going after him next.
He says that he imagines Terran will be the toughest legume to crack.
No, wait, hold up. That doesn't even make sense.
He says he knows 14 words in 12 different languages that rhyme with legume, and if you can show him another bard that does, he will eat his hat.
This hat? The one right
The
here.
hold the hat with Stain again?
No, he
Don't eat your
clarifies
hat.
the hat that he's wearing.
Okay.
It's one of those big like chip sombreros with salsa in it.
I'm just picturing that scene in The Simpsons.
Anyway, we wondered if there was anything you wanted to contribute to the effort.
He says, in truth, he sees very little that can be done. However, he also thought that about Jade Bull and Eldov, who you now have say that you've rescued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go out and do things rather than sit in a giant hat.
And he says, counterpoint, I get to sit in a giant hat for as long as I want.
How long do
He's
you want?
very proud of himself. So what requests do you make of Fred, knowing the general capabilities of a level 20 bard?
We know he can't come along with us, but a level 20 bard ought to have some kind of knowledge. We're wondering if there's anything you know about Baator, or the approach to this thing that you might be useful to us.
He says that he has, over the years, amassed a considerable store of lore and mythology surrounding the Nine Hells, and Destin Locke in particular, who's been around for centuries. Most of his focus was on the chaos side of things. Tenari hordes that have suffered losses against Locke's armies, and the mythology and the legends that have sprung up around these lowly, chaotic fiends about this terrible pit fiend.
Mm-hmm.
Fred says that with proper research and a sufficient amount of magic, he may be able to help you by ascertaining Destin Locke's true name.
Done.
Yeah, what do you need? I mean, that would be huge for us.
He says this is an endeavor that he and Cube embarked on once before, long ago. And the price that they would have had to pay was too high. They were not willing to compromise themselves in the ways that would be necessary. What he had to do back then was essentially ally with one of Locke's enemies, who happened to be a Tenari, which is a chaotic evil fiend. And at the time, Fred and Cube decided that that is not the way to attack this problem.
Well, we've already done that. I mean, we're already in it with the Tenari.
We're all about compromising.
Yeah, so the Duke Grand Stereus and some level. I don't even know.
Fred says that he can reopen those channels, that he can put the magic to use. He will spend the next several days or weeks, or however long it takes, embroiled in song and myth and story, and find the truth of this person, whatever the cost.
All right, well, by my reading, we have some time in the next forever, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And then he offers you, part of his chip sombrero.
Does he need anything from us to reopen those channels or anything?
No, this will be Fred's contribution to the assault.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want with Fred?
I'm set.
I don't know, I almost feel like if we're getting the old party back together, we should just get him to cast Foresight on someone. That would be the true tradition reclaimed.
Riot wants to, while we're here, just make an Arcana check to confirm whether or not this is actually in the magnificent mansion that we're in.
Wait, if what?
If this is the magnificent mansion that we're in.
All right, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Wait, there's no dice on this table.
Oh,
They-
well, I guess you can't
I
make
guess
a
you
check
can't
then.
make an Arcana check then.
It's going to be real difficult, won't it?
Kelian could do it. He can't roll less than a 10.
Give me a second here.
I got you. I rolled a 20.
I don't believe it.
Let's see, what's Rise Arcana? That's a 19.
A 19?
Mhm.
No, very much not a magnificent mansion. Something perhaps similar, but several orders of magnitude bigger than that.
It's a magnificent mansion.
Like, magnificent mansion is what, level 6 or 7 spell?
It's 6.
6?
Seven, yeah.
So this would be like a level 15 spell. The level 15 version of that.
Wow.
Because if you scale down, you get a tiny hut, and you scale it to
Yeah.
and then eventually you get to Big Weldon.
Okay.
This wasn't a spell that he cast. This was his reward for walking the infinite staircase. This was his heart's desire.
Oh, interesting.
All right, who's next on your list of wonderment?
I mean, as long as we're in the upper planes, we may as well hit up Mount Celestia.
Do we have to? Oh,
I don't.
Oh, they might like you now, Kelian.
I
Oh,
can't
shut
go back
up.
there.
yeah, I'm wanted. I can't go back there.
No, you'll be the prodigal son. They'll
No,
be so
no.
happy.
No.
No.
My
I have the
boy.
fork right here.
Will it take us directly to Cornu?
Assuming that that's not as shielded from plane shift.
I mean, I specifically can't go back to Heart's Faith ever.
The
Oh,
Mount
no.
Celestia is different from other outer planes in that there are no portals going anywhere on the plane except into the ocean. Every time you step through a portal of the mountain, you end up at the ocean, and you have to walk the path as high up as you need to go. Cornu is on the 4th layer. You guys took a shortcut through Bahamut's domain, which is on both the 1st and the 4th layer of Mount Celestia.
Yeah, I remember all that.
So you were able to get that high up the mountain without actually learning any moral lessons or bettering yourselves at all.
Yeah.
That sounds like us.
Learn nothing, right?
So who is going to Mount Celestia?
Liberation will go.
Nath's
Okay.
going.
I'll go, because I have an idea.
I'll go.
All right.
Does Rose object?
You're in the same situation as before. Wherever you go, Rose wants to follow. But you
Okay,
also know that if she is a succubus, she will literally melt to death in the ocean of holy water. Like the whole, it stung Kelian and Riot, and they're not evil. They're just chaotic.
But
Okay,
Yeah, Liberation, you might have to... Well, I mean, you could go, but... I guess it depends on how cruel you feel like being.
absolutely not.
well, here's the thing: Riot thinks she's not a succubus anymore. So if you think Riot's right and not wrong, then you have nothing to worry about.
I'd
Well, it
rather
doesn't
err
matter
on
if
the
she's
side of
succubus, it-
caution.
Matters whether or not she's still chaotic and evil.
You guys have fun saying hi to Cornu.
Okay, so
All right.
you're staying behind and babysitting the succubus?
Yeah.
The sole lawful good member of this party is not going to Mount Celestia because he has to babysit a succubus.
Neutral
That's
good.
why... That's why
This
he's
is where this was always going, Kelian. Don't pretend like you didn't know.
Neutral good.
I'm the only lawful good one.
I think this is Nath's first excursion to Mount Celestia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is Nath's perspective on Mount Celestia?
Seems fine.
Oh,
So it's an arduous journey. You arrive at the mountain, you fall into the water. Riot and Kelian both burn a fair bit for being chaotic.
And Kelian curses louder because it doesn't hurt as much as it does, but it still hurts. And Kelian knows why, and he's just cursing louder for it.
It actually doesn't burn, because it doesn't burn your neutrality, only chaos or evil. And you're still chaotic. So, like, you're not less evil than you were. You're just good.
Yeah,
now
but I
instead of
figured it would do
neutral.
more damage, and it's not doing as much damage.
The fun thing is that, like, the water itself can't actually kill you because the lawful good sea creatures will rescue you before then. Did you guys get rescued by Zoveri? I forget, like the octopus guy.
yeah, we
I
did.
think we did.
We did.
Serenity was able to swim, but I don't think anyone else was.
Right.
No, Mahogany was fine.
Oh yeah, that's
He's
right.
neutral
yeah,
as hell.
was-
Okay. So, you guys are avoiding Heart's Faith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, yes.
Although I'm half tempted to just like waltz through the town and just like proclaim it just put up glibness and proclaim it how much she's changed and how she's seen the error of her ways and she's better now.
There was a period of time
You're
when
full of
Riot
shit.
wasn't chaotic.
Yeah,
But it was after
there
coming to
was.
Mount Celestia.
I think
Time's
she might have
over.
even. Yeah, I think the last time I was here, the time that I got popped for no reason, I wasn't chaotic.
No, not no reason. You're part devil.
Yeah.
This is the worst plane.
So you guys avoid Heart's Faith. You drag yourself ashore. You tend to Riot and Kelian's horrible burns all over their body.
That's lawful good for you.
You embark on the journey up the mountain through Bahamut's domain. And after these weeks of hardship and toil, you arrive again at Koronu's Keep. He is a high up in the Order of the Plains Militant, which is a planner sect devoted to guarding law and good of Mount Celestia specifically. Koronu has an advisory role in that. And you are remembered from your previous visits, especially Kelian.
Hmm.
And so what news do you bring Koronu?
Yeah, we'll tell him what we told Fred, which is that we freed Eldov, we freed Jade Bull, we freed Zook. Does he know about Zook? I don't know if he knows about Zook.
No, Zook can just come with you. That would be fine.
That's right.
If you want Zook with you, that's fine.
I think we messaged him about Zook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But
did.
anyway, 7 of the 8 are freed, and now only Terran is left.
He tells you that the service that you have already done for his comrades is insurmountable, that no amount of gratitude that he could express could ever do it justice. He advises that this undertaking is not small. And he nods towards Zook. He and Zook went with Eric. Did somebody just fart?
You said the undertaking is not small, and he nods towards Zook.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
Yeah.
Jeez, Mahogany, grow up. Like, I picture Koronu like have like this serious discussion recounting the biggest failure of his life. A failure so big he did not even allow the scars of it to heal. And here's Mahogany just
Duty.
So
Even McLean is outraged.
he says that if you decided that this was the end point of your journey, he already owes you a debt that cannot be paid. That he would not ask you to step into the 9 hells on his own accord.
Well, we still got a game to win, and I think this is how we do it. Although, Lord knows, we haven't heard anything from me and Nancy in forever.
Are we still doing that?
I'm still doing it.
Who knows?
I mean, I still haven't gotten my crystal back.
It is good hand. Koronu takes up the sword that he wears at his side. And he says, in the days when I fought alongside Terran, this was his weapon. And he holds it forward. He says, this weapon is unique, in my understanding, in the multiverse, in that it is imbued both with the fires of the Platinum Dragon, as well as the darkness from beyond the veil, where Terran drew his magical powers. He says this sword will offer great assistance against the hordes of the 9 hells.
Does any of us use a sword?
I think
We're not really
Corporation can
sword
use a sword.
guys.
I can use a sword. Is it? Well, is it?
It was a scimitar?
It's a longsword. Now, here's the thing. Terran isn't proficient with longswords. It's a pact blade that he just knew how to use.
Right.
So I'm wondering if someone else takes it, they just know how to use it. Because he literally said, no, this morning I just woke up and knew how to use a sword.
Well, knew how to use this
When he
sword.
got it. Yeah.
This is falling to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
I could throw it at someone.
All right. How pissed off is Koranu that Kelian's about to take this sword?
He's not pissed off at all.
Okay.
As far as Koranu is concerned, you all have proven your worth a dozen times over.
All right.
He's good alive
We'll
now.
take the sword.
Right. Do you have an attunement slot you can use on it?
I do. Because Kelian keeps losing all his magic items.
Okay.
Got the only one that matters, baby.
Don't really want to tell him about all that.
I need my PHP. Unfortunately, Kelian is not a warlock, so this will not actually function as a packed weapon. You're not going to be able to summon it and unsummon it. You guys have all heard the story about how my Ravenloft group threw a warlock's packed weapon into a pit and then just summoned it back, and Strahd got all mad.
Yeah, I wonder why Terran hasn't resummoned this one.
Because he doesn't want it. Or he gave that ability to this Terran. Juicy Terran.
Juicy.
Terran.
Okay. It functions as a longsword. +2 forged on the prime material, which means it's +0 out on the outer planes. You were expecting that, I think. But it does count as a magic weapon.
All right.
It deals... I don't think a longsword is a finesse weapon, is it? So you're not going to be able to backstab
It's not.
with it.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
It deals an extra d6 radiant damage to fiends.
Maybe that's why the boss man didn't let him keep it around.
Maybe.
And 3 times per long rest. The sword has 3 charges. You can use it to cast Terran's Eldritch Blast, which was quite formidable.
Shit.
So not regular Eldritch Blast. It's Terran's Eldritch Blast.
It's regular Eldritch Blast with a bit of stank on it.
With stank. Okay.
Star missiles. I can give you the link.
Yeah, so if you look in the Warlock Eldritch Invocations, it has a range of 300 feet. You can use it to push monsters up to 10... Was it 10 feet?
Yeah.
You add your Charisma modifier to the damage it deals on hit.
Oh. Okay.
And you get 3 of them every time you cast it.
Yeah, I got that. Oh, wait, you mean every time I cast it, I get 3 blasts? So
Yeah, you get 3 charges per day. Each time you do it, it's as though Terran casts the spell.
So it's Terran's
Which
charisma
is-
modifier.
Which is 3 missiles. So every time each individual casting would be 3 missiles.
Got it.
Unfortunately,
So
you can't sneak attack with Eldritch Blast either.
Sure. Is that costs a regular action?
Yes.
Got it.
It still counts as a cantrip. It just happens to be the best cantrip in the game if you take all these invocations. So he relinquishes this sword to you. And he tells you that he expects to either see it again in Terran's hand, or he expects it to die an honorable death with you in the 9 hells. Either way, know that you have his approval.
Aw, Kelian.
Does anybody else have any
Weird day,
requests
man.
for Daniel?
He fought with who was the Hound Archon we knew?
Was it a Khazriel?
The Cosriel, that's right. He fought with the Cosriel, right? In that assault on the keep.
He and a Khazriel had different goals, but yes, the Khazriel was with them.
Did either of them know Matsu Henshin?
Oh, all Hound Archons know each other.
He
Listen,
doesn't
they
know.
might.
He doesn't know the name. But if he's a Hound Archon, he might be able to make inquiries. If you want to know more about Matsu Henshin.
Any of the
We're
information?
told that Matsu Henshin is among Locke's collection, and is completely devoted to Locke.
Korudu
I'm wondering
would really prefer you not use the word collection in this context.
Fair enough. But he is devoted to Locke, like apparently completely. Taryn told us, and we're wondering if there's any kind of leverage we might be able to find to wedge under that.
Korudu tells you that the corrupting influence of the Blood War is incredibly tempting to creatures like himself and to a Khazriel, men of war who fight for the prospects of law and good. In some cases, in a Khazriel's case, certainly, the allure of fighting alongside the Beatisu is so enticing because that's how strong the pool is to destroy the forces of chaos, if not necessarily the forces of evil. How this pertains to Matsu Henshin is it's going to depend on whether he is a man of war or not. If there's still some part of him that has a connection to Mount Celestia, you might be able to bring him back by leveraging it. But if he's too far gone to save, if he's too corrupted, he can't think of anything more dangerous than a righteous but misguided paladin of law and good. He looks at liberation. Oh, you're not there.
Liberation isn't here.
Liberation's not
So
there.
he just looks around. Who the hell's laughing? What's happening here? But he can make inquiries to find out about this particular Archon if you like.
Sure. That's all I think we can ask from you at this point.
So liberation.
Hey,
After 2 or 3 weeks, your companions finally return to Sigil after their harrying journey through the cliffs of Mount Celestia. And Kelian has a fancy new sword.
it's a fancy new sword.
Thanks. It's Terrence.
Well, bully.
It's magic or something.
Okay, so who's
All right,
next?
so who's next?
Well, we've seen Zook. Should we
Zook's
get?
wandering around with us.
Yeah,
Zook
no.
waves.
Yeah. Should we get Eric over with?
I would say do Eric last. Let's see if Jade Bull's recovered.
Why
at all.
ended on such a sour note, though?
I mean, it'll get us prepared for the lower planes.
That's true.
Jade Bull's like, or not Jade, Riot's like, listen, I only know 3 priests of Osprey in the multiverse. One of them is a sour-faced, humorless orc, and he's the one that I prefer.
All right, I'll.
I like the
you
idea
have a-
that she would say, I know 3 priests of Osprey, not counting herself.
No, I was counting myself. Who's the third?
Yeah.
We met those 2 dudes in,
Oh, yeah, that's
Awesome
right.
the
drown.
Kardashian C, the
Yeah,
halfling, and
Oh,
was the other one also a half orc?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that was the half orc he was talking
Yeah.
about.
No, I
We was talking about the
assumed
one
you were
that
talking
came in.
Yes, no.
Yashnar's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
The guy
anyway,
you've been living with forever?
Listen.
Mahogany, do you know roughly where an asylum we're headed
what?
for Jade Bull?
Elysium.
We were there.
Yeah, you'd be going to the same place where you guys all hooked yourselves up to the maze machine.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought they had moved her somewhere else.
No, they just called in more reinforcements after the Alkayambax attacked the
Well,
place. Yeah.
Plane shift away. I got a key for that one too.
Okay.
Is Reese here?
It's got a key for Denny's.
In fact, in as much as Reese can really be upset with anybody, she's kind of peeved that Kelian is shirking his duties to go gallivanting across the plains.
You would think of all people, Reese would be. Get it. Ugh.
So you're saying Kelian doesn't really have much of a chance with Reese anymore?
Like he ever did.
Is Kelian gonna get in with Jade Bull to make Reese jealous?
Listen, I know you just came out of like a coma.
So aren't you ready?
Jade Bull's convalescence has gone fairly well. When you guys arrive at Elysium, she's not inclined to leave the place yet. And there's a lot more ciphers here now than were originally stationed here because they just all got kicked out of Sigil, and some of them just found their way here. So it's become kind of a natural gathering place for the Transcendent Order. And you can see where some of them have erected small buildings on the outskirts. Some of them have started to sow the fields here. Like there's the beginnings of what will become a small village around this little hobbit hole in the side of the cliff that goes down into the depths and hides this incredibly powerful machine that you all plugged yourselves into. And Nodal was an elephant for that. That's weird.
Yeah, that's true. That's what happened.
And when you arrive, Jade Bull, she looks better than she did because she's awake and seems fairly cheerful. And almost immediately expresses gratitude for you. She's glad that she finally gets a chance to meet you all face to face. And of course, she's elated to once again see Zook.
Save your gratitude for Reese. She's the one who bankrolled getting this machine together to get you out of there.
No, we did some pretty good stuff. You can give us some gratitude.
Sorry.
She says that since she's been awake here, Reese has not been back to this location. And then she pauses for a moment and says that maybe that's for the best.
Why is that?
And she gives Liberation kind of this sideways look. Why did you bring a succubus into my domain? No, she seems disinclined to get into that topic right now.
Okay.
Well,
Fair enough.
we thought we wanted to let you know, since we weren't able to talk to you before, that we've been going around helping the rest of your party, and only one's left, Terran.
And at that you see her face turn to sorrow. And she says that Terran entrusted her with a very important object. And she said that she was supposed to receive instructions on how to use it if he was ever in major trouble. But she found herself no longer in possession of this object after you brought her back from the maze.
Yeah, we took it. It turns out object is kind of mean because it's Terran.
We did figure out how to use it, at least.
She asks what you
Should I
mean
call
by
it
it's
in?
Terran.
I don't know. Did he include the part that was his gender in it or not?
I thought his gender was just warlock.
Sexually identifies as warlock.
Well, I mean, the bottle did say that he was partial to Edwina, who's another warlock of the Great Beyond. But yeah, she's talking about the bottle. She asks, how you came to know how to use it then.
Cube told us.
I dispelled some of the psionic protections to start, and then Cube was able to use arcane magic to communicate with it.
And she expresses relief that you've managed to find a use for this item. You get the sense that she doesn't really know what it is or what it was supposed to have done.
Well, it's very important because it's got like a part of Terran's brain that isn't under Destin Locke's control.
Yeah, we've been talking to Terran for a while now through that jar, and he's given us a lot of good information about the fortress.
She asks if you guys know about the previous excursion to the fortress, the one that Zook went on.
Yeah, we heard from Eric, we heard from Zook, we heard from Coronet.
And she kind of looks at Zook. She says, "So you know that it was a catastrophic failure, that Daniel was injured beyond repair. Eric was never quite the same."
Mm-hmm.
So wait, he wasn't always like that?
And she says, she looks at Zook kind of accusingly and mentions, and it was exactly as I advised them it would be. It's why I didn't want to take part. And then she asks you why you think you will fare any better. Why will you succeed where her friends failed all those years ago?
Well, for one thing, we've got a literal army on our side. We've got this ship called the Relentless backing us up. For another, we've got a man on the inside, which is Terran.
And we're scrappy.
Also, there's 5 of us instead of 4, so that's a big help.
Well, there was more than the 4 of them. They had a Khazra with them.
Oh, that's right.
It was just the 4 from the original group that went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, no offense, but you're planners. We've dealt with fiends before.
The primes.
They're primes.
Sorry, primes, yeah. That's what I meant.
She says that she doesn't have any cause to stop you, but she doesn't see the point in this undertaking either. She doesn't think it will be successful.
All right. Well,
Well, I look forward to proving you're wrong, or maybe not. We'll see. I'll do my best to prove you wrong.
you ought to at least visit the others sometime. They're all around. They're back.
Oh, she intends to. She just would like to do it without going to Sigil, because Sigil is terrible.
Yeah, can you
It's-
come with
it's-
us to talk to Eric?
It's
Because
less
really,
terrible these days, actually.
we could use a buffer. Also, definitely don't recommend you go to Sigil. That's a real bad plan. We got you out of a maze.
Oh, that's
God
true.
damn it,
Yeah.
Riot.
I would not want.
Don't.
I would not want to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, steer clear
Good
of the
point.
city of doors.
So what do you tell her about the faction war?
Probably nothing.
Unless she asks.
I mean, I figure she might have heard something just from hanging out here with
Right.
returning ciphers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ciphers, I mean, they're all over the place.
I don't know.
I figure they've already told her what she needs to know because they're ciphers. And
I'm kind of surprised that Mahogany isn't more starstruck, because this is apparently the lady who made Reese what she is today.
We did it, though.
Yes and no. She was Reese's mentor in the ways of being, like, martial arts, being a monk, but Jade Bull was never a high-level cipher. They had a falling out. So knowing the capabilities of a level 20 monk, do you make any requests of Jade Bull?
no, she's made it pretty clear that she doesn't want to go on this doomed mission of ours.
Well, she thinks it's doomed, but that doesn't mean she won't offer any help if she thinks she can.
I mean, hey, Zook's coming. You're welcome to come along.
She admits that at this point she believes her fighting days are probably behind her.
All right,
Does
well,
anybody have
what
any-
else you got?
She can speak any language.
We got one of those.
That's true.
Is there anything you can teach liberation?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
What kind of monk is Liberation?
He is the way of the shifting flow. Like he does not like. He's not the type that's shooting fire from his fists or whatever and what have you. That's not his.
Well, that's literally the kind of monk that Jade Bull is.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you have your PHB, Liberation,
Okay.
pretty much all of Jade Bull's like major capabilities are going to be on page about 81. That's where they have the Way of the Four Elements.
Mm-hmm.
She is willing to train you in one of those disciplines. I mean, if she had the time, she would train you all your life. But at this point, Liberation's almost reached the apex of what he's going to learn as a monk.
Mm-hmm.
So above and beyond what you can already do in your class, you can choose one of those elemental disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
And you can mix and match the element however you want. For example, if you want a water whip made out of lightning, we can make that happen, kind of thing.
Let's see
Can you use your ability to speak any language to come talk to Eric? Because frankly, we had difficulty the last time.
He only speaks Burke.
Well, he's
Hang
always
on.
been kind of a terrible cleric, so.
I'm looking at the stone skin, and it's seeming really neat.
The only one who would disagree is Eldov. Eric was the best cleric.
I think the Stone Skin one was the last one that Orphan took.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Like at level 17 or something.
yeah, that's what it says here in the book. So
Here's some good work.
gives me resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Oh,
I don't know if
not.
that's going to do it because we're going to be fighting a
Maybe
lot of
not.
fiends. And I hear a
Maybe
whole
not.
lot of every time I ask the question, is this magical slashing? Yes. Isn't there one of them that literally just makes it so that your basic attacks extend 10 feet? That sounds pretty good.
That one was
Fist
useful.
of Unbroken Air, was it?
No, that was Fangs of the Fire. Leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your reach with your unarmed strikes increases by 10 feet for that action as well as the rest of the turn.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good.
Could you make that radiant instead of fire damage?
Radiant, no, because Radiance is not an element. But fire, cold, acid, lightning.
I feel like
Don't
Way
say
of the
that to
Four-
Mahogany because he would disagree.
Well, this is the Way of the Four Elements, so I feel like it should be limited to the four elements.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the DM, but
I think in 5e terms, they would classify Radiance as an element, but in Planescape terms, Radiance is light.
yeah.
It's positive energy, basically.
How about cold then instead?
Okay. Make either an Arcana or a History check. One of the two.
Let's see if I can. Character sheet, which is in another tab. There we go. Arcana or history,
Yes, sir.
both of which the same bonus. Ha! I'm just gonna spend 4 belief points and make it an automatic success.
Okay. Beatisu, just in general, like any form of Beatisu, are resistant to cold damage, immune to fire and poison. There is one type of devil which you fought before, the Ice Devil, that is also immune to cold. Your best
Yeah,
bet if
and
you're looking at
best
something that
thing.
will hurt fiends would probably be lightning or acid, one of the two.
But lightning doesn't really fall under the.
No, lightning
The
absolutely
four
does
elements.
fall under the
Hey,
four.
I would allow lightning and acid,
Yeah.
but not radiant
they-
or necrotic.
They banned
Okay,
lightning
then.
on Avatar, so I think
Yeah.
it's
They count
Yeah,
as
it's just
fire.
the advanced form of fire.
And
Okay.
acid is generally earth.
Yeah, I remember that scene. I think it was like one of the first episodes of Korra where they're powering those electric turbines just by firing lightning into them. And I'm like, okay,
right.
come on.
That's right. Okay, then that sounds cool.
Okay, so you turn your unarmed attacks. You can spend key points to increase the range by 10 feet and make them deal lightning instead of bludgeoning.
Okay. All right then. Sweet.
So you gain the knack of that monk ability.
That's pretty rad.
And everyone else has a great time on Elysium because it's literally the best plane.
Yeah, I love it here. Should we be rolling this?
Do we really want to leave?
Nope, that's the end of the campaign.
adventure.
Thanks for playing, guys. Y'all retired.
See you guys in January.
I'm not going to make you guys do that, but yeah, that is one of the reasons why Orphan hasn't left yet, because she wakes up from being in a maze, and she's on Elysium, she's like, I'll just chill here, it's great. Although I do imagine Orphan will eventually leave Elysium, because she will be stricken with Wanderlust before too long. Alright, so that's 3 down. You wanted to do Eric next?
Well, want is a strong word.
Everybody else.
Can we delay with Eldov and Cube?
Eldov is not in a position to do much to help you.
Yeah.
He's still very weak. Cube, however, and I think I made this offer before, he's a very high-level wizard, and he's able to scribe spell scrolls for you that Nath would be able to use pretty much effortlessly. So he's able to give you guys some scrolls, if you'll need them, to stretch Nath's own spell slots out.
Okay.
That would.
Foresight?
I mean,
Let's see.
Foresight can't hurt. Only person who would get the benefit is Nath, but that doesn't hurt anything.
What are you talking about? We gave Foresight to our rogue every battle we had Foresight.
Right, but... Oh, right, yeah, you touch a willing creature. I forgot. For some reason I was like, it's a self-cast spell. No, it's not.
So providing that you can get him the material components for a spell listed in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do some mental math here. We'll give you 14 spell levels worth of scrolls.
Okay.
That Cube can provide you, and this is he will spend the time scribing all of these scrolls out for you while you guys are running around the plains. So I'll let Nath make that determination because he's probably got all the books and everything.
Yeah.
All of the D&D Beyond.
Eldov offers to help you retake the dancing hut, and then use that to just roll up on it.
I think that would be a conflict of interest with our other partners on this.
Yeah, but you can just renege on that agreement, right? You don't have to. You don't have to do what they want just because they.
I mean,
say so.
eventually we will be reneging on that agreement, I'm sure. But
So who from this game will acquire the dancing hut? Will it become Liberation's dancing hut? Like, I don't think Nodal will get it twice in a row. That's just not fair.
Yeah.
Mahogany doesn't really want it.
Here we are.
Back on the Prime Material world.
Oh, it's a magical hut that lets you change planes.
There was some cool stuff inside the hut. You guys got to see a tank, and you met a crazy man. And there was a
I can meet a crazy man for free every day in Sigil.
There was a talking owl who was a
Liberation
food
waves.
critic.
that guy was great. I'm sorry. I'm sad he wasn't real.
He was as real as any of us.
Well, that's not quite true at all.
How does Riot?
That's not even a little bit true.
How does Riot regard the High Temple of Osprey in this giant city?
I'm glad that there are a bunch of people in the city who believe in Ostrom, but boy, Eric sucks.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? She almost died, so how good could their belief really be?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm... Well, and I kind of blame Eric on that, because Eric became like Mr. Civic Duty, and he forgot his duty to his goddess.
I think you should call him out on that.
I already did once, and he didn't take the bait.
So what do you tell Eric when you arrive? He meets you in his little antechamber, where he has his magical staff on display, along with some other religious artifacts that he's collected over the years.
Wait a second. Are these artifacts of Ostrom? I mean, I assume so, because we're in the Tide Temple of Ostrom, and they're his religious artifacts.
Actually, they're not, because they're whatever magic items Eric would have had from the campaign. And he never got an artifact of Osprey. He had that Staff of Thunder. And I think
I've got more artifacts than him. I'm trained in religion.
Yeah, but that's not fair. Like, he's a prime. He couldn't just go call up Osprey and be like, yo, I'm going to check out your temple.
On the flip side, Eric spent at least some portion of his life as an actual pirate, and you haven't.
Well, that's going to change.
I like the idea of Riot just getting more into Osprey out of spite.
Eric's general demeanor towards you guys is he's very surprised and grateful that you've managed to rescue Jade from the maze, that you've managed to that thing you did with Eldov. But he's very blunt when he gets to the heart of what he sees as the problem with you Sigil types. That gallivanting across, the ladies' mazes, searching for the world-spanning dancing hut. These are exciting, intriguing stories, the kind that people in Sigil would pay a copper for at a tap house. What you're proposing now is literally going into the deepest pits of hell. He's not sure that you all actually appreciate the gravity of this situation, and he says he believes that because he didn't understand the gravity of the situation, and he had already been to literal hell on a couple of occasions.
I'm not sure you understand the gravity of going into the ladies' mazes.
Is that the angle you're going to attack this from?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, Mahogany doesn't have much of an angle. Because this guy talks a lot of shit, but doesn't actually do any of it. So Mahogany just thinks this guy kind of sucks. Like, he has a lot of beliefs that he likes to say, but he doesn't actually back any of them up with action.
What about the rest of you?
I think he's afraid. I think what he's afraid of is he's afraid I'm going to succeed, or thinking that I'm a better priest of Osprey than he is.
He grumbles a bit, but he says to the contrary, I hope you succeed.